The White House is deciding whether to permit a first-of-its-kind mining project at the bottom of the Pacific Ocean. Now, it follows an executive order signed by President Trump. This is way back in April, aimed at jump-starting the deep-sea mining industry. Spearheading these efforts, the metals company. Its shares have, in fact, soared more than 75% since the executive order was signed. The company aims to mine minerals critical for batteries and other green technologies from the Clarion-Clipperton Zone. Now, this is where it gets interesting. It's part of the Pacific Ocean with potentially billions of dollars worth of minerals. Critics, though, warn that doing so could cause irreparable environmental damage. Gerard Barron is the CEO of the metals company, and he joins us now. And I thank you for taking another crack at this. We had breaking news the last time we tried to interview, so I thank you for having us back. And I do want you to give us a primer on this, on what your company is trying to do, and why you believe it is both necessary and achievable, keeping an eye on the fact that many are skeptical that this is needed and that environmentally it won't be dangerous.
Thanks, Paula. Well, so we're focused on picking up these polymetallic nodules from the abyssal plains in the Pacific Ocean. And if we think about our planet, 70% of it is known to be covered by the oceans. And we don't take any metals from the oceans today. And so it makes sense, if we apply first principle thinking, that we should carry out extractive industries in parts of the planet where there is the least life, instead of the most life. And if we look at what's happening on land today, we're continuing to push into some of the most pristine, biodiverse habitats known as our tropical rainforest. Yet we have trillions and trillions of dollars worth of these polymetallic nodules. It's estimated there's more than 20 billion tons of them. And they're full of nickel and copper and cobalt and manganese, and they sit in the abyssal plains. Now, half of our entire planet is categorized as the abyssal plain. There's no alternative use for it. You can't grow crops there, you can't live there, and there's no one living within 1,000 miles of it. So it's the perfect place to have a very large, abundant resource. And the metals company, for the last 14 years, has been focused on carrying out the environmental studies to understand what the impacts will be of us picking up these rocks and turning them into metals. And in 2022, we ran commercial trials where we showed how we pick up these rocks using our robots on the seafloor. We also did extensive environmental studies during those campaigns, and then we went back a year later to see what the recoveries were like. And the good news is the recoveries are really fast, and the rocks literally sit on the ocean floor. So we don't have to drill or dig to get to them. We just have to pick them up. And we all know the geopolitics at the moment are very focused on critical minerals. And so it's a given that we need to get more of them. And it only makes sense that we should be going to the abyssal plains in the middle of the Pacific Ocean to pick up these rocks.
Certainly, it makes sense to you. I would say that if we want to just deal with the technology and the timelines first, this is still very unproven. Why do you believe it will succeed, and why do you believe it will succeed in a timely fashion? I mean, 10 years ago, there's a lot of technology we couldn't see coming. If it's going to take you 10, 15, 20-year timeline, what's proven about this, and why is it even worthwhile?
Well, if we go back to the 1970s, this industry almost got started. America was leading the industry, and there were many consortia picking up these very same rocks. And in the 1970s, they were real pioneers. And so, of course, the industry then came to a slowdown, and it's only now, since the metals company has really been pushing the industry forward since 2011. And in 2022, we went and showed how technology has advanced, because of course what's happened in that 50-year period is offshore oil and gas and pipeline and cable laying has advanced enormously. So it's more about technology integration, to be honest. And so there's no big technology risk in picking them up. And of course, we've also shown how we move them to shore and turn them into the critical minerals that are inside them. We've done all of that pilot work now. And to begin with, there are existing processing plants that we can utilize to process these nodules. But of course, the big opportunity is to rebuild that infrastructure in the United States. And of course, President Trump is very focused on reindustrialization. And there's a great saying, if it ain't grown, it's mined. And so critical minerals are going to be needed. and we're going to need billions of tons more of them. And the question for society is, where should we be getting them from? And
Now,
surely we should be getting them from places where the impacts on people and the environment is less.
and Mr. Barron, to that point, I do want to say that the president is actually in the Oval Office right now. He is supposed to be signing an executive order that will actually make investment in that energy infrastructure much simpler. Still, though, so many people are wondering what the cost will be of this from an environmental point of view, given all the damage we've already done, as you know, on land, never mind at sea. And I ask you that I believe that so much of what you're about to mine is kind of beyond national jurisdiction, right? It's in international waters. The International Seabed Authority, the ISA, has been abandoned by the Trump administration, and apparently it's not something that you're going to adhere to either. And please correct me if I'm wrong about that.
No, we were working with the International Seabed Authority. It was set up in 1994 with the express purpose of putting in place regulations to allow the exploration and extraction, mining of these metals. Now, of course, they haven't delivered on that promise. And so in March, we announced that we were going to go through the permitting pathway of the United States. And of course, no nation has sovereignty over the oceans. And so all nations have access to the minerals on the seafloor. They have freedom of passage. They have the ability to lay cables. A number of nations, in fact, now 169 of them, did sign the treaty, now known as UNCLOS, that agreed on how they would handle minerals that lay on the seafloor. But America did not sign. In fact, it's been a consistent objector to that treaty. And so America has full legal right to be able to go and collect these metals.
So
and of course, they also have the regulations.
And we do understand that that's the direction that President Trump wants to go in. I do have to leave it there. Gerard Barron will continue to check in, though, with your company. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Paula.